Welcome back to another Careerology Energy Check-In. Now, I've already shuffled the deck, and the card that pulled up today that we're going to talk about is the High Priestess and how it relates to your career in terms of trusting your inner compass, trusting your intuition, for lack of a better word. So, I want you to ask yourself, have you ever reached a point in your career where you felt like something was changing? You couldn't quite put your finger on it, but you could feel it in the background, okay? Now, last week we mentioned the Fool. Okay, a couple of days ago, that was a card that I pulled. That was the energy of new beginnings, taking that step and trusting the path that's unfolding. Now, today brings a different kind of lesson with the High Priestess. The Fool actually encourages us to begin, encourages us to start. The High Priestess reminds us to listen to our instincts. Okay, we don't want to get stuck in a space where we're afraid to move forward. Maybe there's a job that you once had that doesn't challenge you anymore. Or maybe there's a career path that you're aligned with that doesn't quite match where you're becoming. Okay. And maybe the business that you created, it's ready to let's say evolve into a new direction. Now, this is where most people get stuck because what happens is, okay, they got this nudge to do something different. They're searching for answers or validation from everybody, like your friends, your family, your coworkers, even your mentors, or what the industry expectation says. And they do this so much that they lose track of their own voice. So your intuition is never supposed to be separate from your career journey. You've always had that inside voice, that instinct that tells you when something is going well or when something is not going well. The challenge is listening to it. Okay. How can this energy show up for you specifically? If you're a job seeker, you might be encouraged to look someplace else for work. Okay. At least start exploring those opportunities, whether it be a new job, new position, or a new company altogether. Not just where you've been, but where you could potentially grow into as well. So, one way to do this is to get intentional about the type of company that you're actually sending your applications out to. Come up with a top 10 wish list and start aggressively going after the companies where you'd want to work. Okay. These companies should line up with you in terms of your morals, your principles, your values, the type of company you want to work with, their company culture. Okay. These are places where you can really see yourself working. Once you got that list down pat, I want you to start researching those companies and start connecting with the people who work there, maybe on LinkedIn, and look for job opportunities through the hidden job market, companies that are not actually posting their applications. Now, if you are a professional or a manager or a senior executive, this card shows up to let you know that you're ready for that next level. Okay, now is the time to start looking into questioning where you are right now and where you would like to be in the next 2 to 5 years. Now, when you're growing, you need to have a plan. Okay. So take some time to map this out, what this journey will look like for you in terms of, do you need to take a course? What skills do you need to tap into to get to that next level? And come up with a timeline, an actual timeline that'll help you reach that goal. And don't forget, a lot of companies have their own professional development fund, meaning if you take a course, they will obviously reimburse you for the course once you show the passing grade or something like that. Every company does it a little different, but I would always encourage you to take those courses because a lot of times the company will pay for it free of charge right up front. Okay, so the goal is to actually understand where you are right now and exactly what you need to do to get to the next phase of your career. Okay, whether that's a promotion, opportunity to lead a new team, or actually moving to a completely different company altogether. Now, for entrepreneurs, this shows up when you start to feel like your vision is expanding and you're being called to trust the direction that you're in and trust where it's moving towards. Okay. So you could have a product line that you could expand on. Okay. Maybe there's a couple of other services or products that you could tag into there and come up with a totally new package. Those are things that you might feel happening right now if you're a business owner. You might find yourself feeling restless. Okay. Your current routine, you might find yourself daydreaming about a new service or product. I want you to pay attention to those thoughts because that could very well be the answer to where you should be moving next. Okay. So the high priestess is here asking you to slow down, listen, and reconnect to your intuitive thoughts, your intuitive nature. Okay. Sometimes the next step in your career, it doesn't come from, gathering more opinions from your friends and family and senior execs, or more advice, or even just more information. It's just trusting yourself enough to know that now's the time to actually act on it. That is the hardest step. once you've done all of the research and you kind of got your steps mapped out, now you have to hold yourself to the fire and actually do the work that you said you were going to do. Okay. So I want to ask you this one question and leave you with this. What is your intuition telling you about what next steps you should be taking to move forward in your career? Okay. Now, remember that the energy that you put out really does matter because the universe has a way of sending that right back to you. So this is why you need to keep it positive. And if this reading has resonated with you, feel free to like, share, follow, subscribe, or leave a comment below.